Can we say that police officers are inherently racist?
Absolutely.
I think I disagree with that. I think it's hard to say police officers are inherently racist. I don't think anybody should have the power to be a cop with the training and selection they have. Like, if you think about the responsibility they have and the influence they have over other people's lives, if you're going to give someone that, you have to select very specific people and make sure they're very well trained to do that job, right? So if you have however many million cops in the States, 10% of people in general, let's say 10%, are dickheads. 10% of people are racist. Maybe 10% have a short fuse. So 10% of cops are going to be racist. 10% are going to have a short fuse. I think police officers, the people themselves, aren't inherently racist, but like the way the system is built and what's asked of them and the way they've learned to operate, the system, the way they operate it, right? So if they tell you, go out and you got to meet a quota, I want to see you get 10 tickets today. And then his buddy tells him like, yo, go to Jane Finch. It's super easy. Pull anybody over, tell them their car smells like weed, you're definitely going to find something. I think the way it's built, the expectations they have, the training they have, what they're taught, and the power they're given, those things, the system around it, it brings out negative traits.
Just to build on that, I mean, it's easier to arrest black people, it's easier to convict black people, and it's easier to give them longer sentences.
Why?
It's just the way, from the Bill Clinton era, the bills they passed to Ronald Reagan, just the way America in general has been built with black people, and since the civil rights, it's just easier. It's just the way the bills they pass.
So we're easier targets.
It's not just black people, it goes different ways. So like with drugs and certain types of violent crimes, black people become a target. And then if you go to the south of the US, like I used to live in Georgia and Florida, and being Mexican there is a tricky thing too, because they're always pulling the immigration card. They pull you over and then they start asking like, where you from? Resident?
But what does that mean?
Citizen?
What does that mean?
They still target.
But what does that mean? You see, like,
I think it's crazy to say that when somebody becomes a cop and they switch from being a civilian, they somehow wake up with this weird racism.
So you're saying you're the individuals.
But it's these preconceived notions that breed it, right? So it's already there. They're like they're perpetuating their own stereotype.
But what percent?
So the stereotype that I'm making for them, they're perpetuating it time and time again. It's
but do you think they go into the job with that? Do you think like being a cop tracks racist, or the system makes them act in a way that's...
Honestly, I agree with you. I think there are racist cops that go into policing that are racist and want to practice their racism. I think the system makes majority of them racist. I feel like if they're not racist going in, they come out racist.
I was going to say, do you think like they believe that, or maybe the cops, like, do you think like they might not like a certain minority group or believe these stereotypes?
That's a
or do you think
minority.
they're just trying to do their job? Like, for example, if they got a quota to meet, right? Maybe they're completely neutral towards every race, but they've been taught like, yo, if you go to this neighborhood or this minority group, you'll hit your number, or it's easier.
That's actually a thing.
Maybe they act prejudiced, but they don't like believe.
No, but that's
they don't have hatred.
So they're going to Jane and Finch, which it's a minority community here in Toronto, because they need to fill the quota, not because they hate the minorities of that community.
If you get fined, and you question it, you're like, you know, I'm gonna beat this. I'm not gonna pay this. They're like, I don't care. We don't get paid for convictions. Like that's the rhetoric.
That's real. That's
the rhetoric.
So Bueller, I have to say something, because you said the initial question was, are police inherently racist? And your answer was
absolutely.
Yeah. I want to bring something to you. Isn't that the same thought that certain individuals, especially on the news, they put this blanket Muslim, right? This blanket statement. One guy with a beard blew up something, and I'm Muslim and you're Muslim. And then we got to answer for it. So now we walk around and you got this beautiful beard here, and then now you're a terrorist. Isn't that the same thing that they're doing to you that you're doing to them?
Considering all the shit I've seen, maybe I was a little hasty, I get it, but the system for sure is racist. Like, guaranteed. I can't say unequivocally that every single cop is a racist. Okay. But the system damn sure is, man.
The results play out racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Here's another question. Why is it the majority of white Americans believe police are executing their duty to protect and serve, but 80% of black Americans, they believe that they're being treated less fairly? Why is it that there's such a huge discrepancy?
That's a loaded question.
Prince, I'll let you start.
That's a loaded question, but I mean, it's experience. There's different experiences at the end of the day, and it just starts off with the entire system. They don't experience the same things that the minorities are experiencing. It's the black people that are, how many people come out of jail that were innocent, that are white, that we see? It's mostly
it's always one of those, like, after 30 years in jail, this man has been free due to DNA testing. That's always some black people.
And on top of that, they feel safe. They're in the suburban neighborhood. They see that people are being arrested, and these people happen to be black people, and nothing's going on with them. They don't have interactions with police. Police are polite with them, and of course that's how they're experiencing it. And then black people have the complete opposite. experience. So that's what it comes down
so
to. So I'm not surprised by those numbers.
But it's not even just experience.
Yeah.
So before I ever experienced any kind of like police prejudice, I felt like I had to take sides because it's painted as this picture, like cops versus black people. Where do you stand on this issue? And most white people, I would assume, haven't had that experience. They haven't. It's not in their culture, so they're like, "Yo, cops are doing their job."
Yeah.
Most black people will be like, "Yeah, for sure, that's what's going on. There's a clear divide.
Yeah.
Cops are fucking with us. Cops are biased." Even if they haven't experienced it, it makes you take sides. It's with everything, Lakers, Celtics, whatever. Like, people have to take sides.
Yeah.
And the more heated it becomes, the more divisive the issue becomes.
Yeah. Eric, I'm going to move on to the next topic, but I have a quick question for you. I'm just going to ask it. Please don't get offended.
No.
Right? What is your background?
My background. So my mother's Russian.
Okay.
Like whiter than this table.
Yeah.
And my dad's West African, blacker than this shirt.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, like that creates an interesting. And honestly, like growing up, I never really. So I was like raised super suburban in the States.
So I was just
gated community shit.
So did you experience? Because I'm going to ask you why. Because you look like you don't look like the kind of guy that gets stopped by the cops.
But I've seen every side. Like I grew up in West Africa and Russia. I grew up in the ghettos of Toronto, and then I moved to the States and lived in the suburbs. But I did this thing where I kind of disconnected myself from that because I assumed this lifestyle in this area dictates like how I get treated. Right. And my older sister had to like remind me, like, I'm gonna go to university. She's like, don't do dumb shit. Don't forget you're black. You could be a doctor's son. You could be educated black. You're still black in the eyes of the police, and you will not be treated the same way as everyone else.
Do you forget?
And like
that
I got that logically. I don't forget I'm black, but I forget that type of like blanket quick decision happens. So like I assume because I'm in a chill setting or in like a university with a scholarship and an honors dorm, that I'm kind of like I've kind of stepped away from that. Like, you don't have to be in those situations.
Yeah.
And like I've had that. I got pulled over at a traffic stop. Want to play tennis? I'm 16. Yo, it was the most suburban shit you've ever seen in your life. You have no idea. Village Lake in Georgia. We're driving, me and my brother, to go play tennis. Legit, like the little shorts and a polo at a private court. Yeah. And a cop just pulls us over. Doing the speed limit for sure. I got a learner's permit. What are you doing? Where do you live? Show him the tennis rackets. Like, let me see your IDs. I reach under to grab it, unholsters his weapon. I'm like, he's like, you're moving a lot. You're making me nervous. And then I didn't get it.
You're making me nervous, nigga. I just want to play tennis.
We played the whole game, and everybody knows that Fresh Prince episode where Carlton and Will go to jail and have that talk. And it's like, is it because we're black?
They were just doing their job. Good night, Carlton. What's your complaint here? We were detained for a few hours, Dad cleared things up, and we were released. The system works.
I hope you like that system, because you're going to be seeing a whole lot of it during your lifetime.
Not if I bring a map.
You just don't get it, do you? No map is going to save you. And neither is your glee club, or your fancy Bel Air address, or who your daddy is. Because when you're driving in a nice car in a strange neighborhood, none of that matters. They only see one thing.
Exact moment I had. After the tennis game, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh shit, that's so real.
Damn.
16-year-old in a Range Rover. Yeah. I can't just be driving around for no reason. Like, why are you in the nice neighborhood? Yeah.
Man, so if you're black, you're black. Like no matter what class you come from, or how light skinned you were, or if you're wearing short shorts, tennis shorts, you getting pulled over. Like it's everybody. They're not that short. All right, so let's finish it off. My last question to you is, how the do we solve this? How do we solve police misconduct? So we'll start off with you, and we'll finish it off this way.
I think unity. It's what you mentioned earlier. People are selfish. Unless it affects them, they really don't. They turn the other cheek. I think as black people, as minorities, we're aware of what's going on. But unless it hits home, unless it's your brother who just got shot by the police, your cousin that happened to, we don't care that much. Yeah. We know it exists. We're uncomfortable. It's out there. But until we unify and make noise, organized noise in the streets, the way Malcolm X wanted, I think that's the only way it can change.
Fair enough. Right.
Honestly, I think it goes a bit further than that, right? Because we have social media now, and everything is blasted everywhere, right? And we all get on our Facebooks and we unite, but it's still happening. It's still there. I think we need a different route. Like we need to think outside the box. It's not so much the riot. It's not so much the I'm not going against what you said.
It's all good.
You know, like I'm just saying that we need to think further than that. Like what is it that makes cops, or what is it, like we mentioned, like, oh, there's certain habits we've picked up, or maybe, you know, their parents are racist or whatever it is. Maybe something in the training that they need to like pick people not only based on how well they've been trained or where they come from, just like the story. Exactly. Yeah. It needs to be deeper than that. It needs to be, I don't know, is there a test for like sympathy levels? I don't know. Like, oh, how much does he empathize? I don't know. Sure. Is there? Yeah. Right? But there needs to, like, people need to look into how well this individual can empathize. Because that little factor means so much. Like, you need to have that little feeling of like, okay, I'm not the same race as you, but can I empathize with where you're coming from? Can I connect with you? I know you're being a little aggressive. Maybe this child's being aggressive towards me because he's dealt with some bad cops. Let me talk down, like, let me get to his eye level. Yeah. Let me be a little sweeter. Yeah. You know, like, why is it that we are, as individuals, we're not cops, but then people are expecting us to, like, be in respect in the presence of cops?
We gotta change.
Why we gotta change? Yeah. You're just as human. Yeah. Just because you're a cop doesn't mean you're higher than me. It just means I expect you to treat me with respect and the love and care that you were put down in this position for. Yeah. Right? I
agree. Eric with a C.
With a C. I think, like, as culture changes, that's going to catch up. Culture in general, the way we see each other, is becoming a lot more open. And even though there are all these racial issues that become, like, very, like, framed in the media, in general, it's safe to say we're on a good trajectory, right? Yeah. It's becoming better. And I think the institutions...
We're not 1950.
No, definitely not.
But like, shit is still out here.
You know, it's still real, but it's better than it was. And the institutions are slow to change because they're rigid. And I think nothing short of, like, drastically rethinking what it means to be a cop. Yeah. What the position means, like, legally, morally, and reevaluate. Because the police force, like, it functions, it's an idea from, like, 200 years ago, right? Society's different. We have to pause and think, like, how do we reshape this from the ground up? Yeah. And I think anything short of that isn't going to do much of a difference. Because, like, if people resist and call it out, then that just polarizes it more. I think it's just going to have to be like a fairly drastic change to catch up to where our actual society is.
To piggyback what you said, to deconstruct the system, like, from the bottom up, right? So, hiring process. It should take a lot more education, for sure, to become a police officer. Not right out of high school, jump into police foundation, and then, you know, you learn a few things and then you go. I think it should be strenuous. I think it's like mental health.
Quick fact, you know, you can be too smart to be a cop.
Really?
You can score too high on intelligence tests to be cops in some places.
That sounds smart.
If you're too smart, then you think for yourself, you're a little bit against authority. I'm not saying this is broad.
They're against critical thinking?
Yeah. I'm not saying this is, like, broad everywhere, but there are places where if you score too high on certain tests, they're like, nah, this guy's too much of a, like, intellectual know-it-all. He thinks for himself. But yeah, like, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So deconstruct. Hiring process, hire locally. So don't get somebody from suburbia to come to, you know, somebody that knows the feel of the city. Yeah. Train them and then have more beat cops. This cruiser, like, driving by in a cruiser is haunting. Every time you see it, you're preconditioned to, like, son of a bitch, and you're not even doing anything.
No one feels relaxed when you see that.
Have cops walking around, go play basketball with the kids, like, you know what I mean? Get involved. There's some places where they do that, but not to the degree that they should, and that's the only way it's gonna work. Once they actually look at people as human beings and not, you know what I'm saying, kids as kids, not as criminals. Right? These are kids.
All right, so that kind of brings us to the end, and I'm gonna ask you, what did we learn today? Like, what did you learn from this debate, from this conversation that we've had?
I learned that I'm super angry at being, like, marginalized in the blanket statements, and I did that too. Yeah. So I feel like it's not gonna be a thing.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. No, I'm serious. Like, I get where you're coming from. I understand your experience. We've had in-depth conversations about this many times. I completely understand, and I'm not trying to shit on what you've gone through, but I understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, guys, the questions are up for grabs for yourself as well. You've heard the things that we've talked about. Please comment below. I want to hear your conversation. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Are we wrong? Are we right? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Because that is what Sheeko Sheeko is all about. So please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell a friend. We out.
Peace.
Yeah.
For real, the only cop I respect is John McClane. 5 Die Hard movies, he only killed one nigga. That guy.